Hello, this is voiceover Treasure, and I am going to be soloing Easy Lucid. This will complete the last quest for the item burning challenger gear. This is my first time soloing her. I've gone ahead and popped all my potions and my buffs. We're going to go ahead and talk to Protective Mask and hop into Easy Lucid. This is your first time soloing. Hopefully this will help you. There's not really a safe spot to stand in per se for Lucid. She's got a lot of different attacks that cover the screen, and so it's more of just kind of moving back and forth and avoiding too many overlapping attacks from Lucid. As you can see right off the bat, she's got a number of crisscrossing flowers, and she has crescent moon attacks that will hit you, as well as these floating, fluttering butterflies that have these blue particles that will also attack you. Occasionally a spiky mushroom will appear, as well as golems that drop from the top of the screen. So you'll just kind of want to scoot back and forth close enough that you can continue attacking Lucid, but also giving yourself enough space that you're not getting hit by too many overlapping attacks from Lucid. There's also these stationary butterflies that you see appearing every so often. The cherub will light up if you hold down your harvest key. You can use that to clear off some of these attacks that are covering your screen. And I'm just going to continue attacking Lucid. She is a 2-phase boss, and in each phase she has 10 lives along with a final life. So I am just going to continue whittling her down. When you see this green fog, this is usually a clue that this giant dragon with an all-screen attack will show up. Like I did, you can quickly jump behind the dragon to avoid getting attacked. Otherwise, if you have a invincible move that allows you to stay alive during an all-screen attack like that, you can use that move as well. Don't stay too close to these golems. They will continuously attack you until your HP is completely gone, so you'll want to scoot away from them and attack both the golems as well as Lucid. Attacking the golems will clear them off of your screen. That way you'll have more room to scoot or move around. And I'm going to make my way to the cherub. Another attack that Lucid has is a countdown timer above your head, and that will count down from 3 to 0. When you get to 1, you'll want to hit one of your moves that gives you invincibility to avoid the one hit from Lucid. Otherwise, when it gets to 0, you'll lose all of your HP. So I'm going to go ahead and clear off some of the attacks here on the screen, continue attacking. That counter, that ticking counter that shows up above your head, there is another way to avoid one hit from Lucid. Is there are these crystal portal looking things that show up on the screen. If you are able to find that, you can avoid for one hit. You'll just lose 90% of your health. You have to have 100% to withstand that. I did get lucky there when the dragon appeared. I had a link skill from Shade, which allowed me to avoid a one-hit death there. So I'm going to go ahead and clear off the screen as best I can again, avoiding the golem. Going to continue attacking. Got her whittled down to 2 lives now, and we're only just 4 minutes in, so it's pretty good clear time there. And you do get 10 lives, so you do have a bit of a buffer there. So you don't need to panic too much there. And now we've got her down to 1. So I'm just going to keep attacking and just kind of scooting around, avoiding too many overlapping attacks. And as you can see, I got a little too close to the golems there. It can warp you or teleport you to a different spot on the map as well, so that is something else to watch out for. And unfortunately, I didn't time this quite right, so I got trapped between the golems and the all-screen attack from the dragon. But that's okay, I still have 9 lives, and we do have Lucid whittled down to her last life. Alright, so this is her final life for stage 1. Keep attacking, attacking. Just kind of avoid getting hit too much. Oops, and I jumped right into a golem there, so I did lose another life there. That's alright. I still have 8 lives, and Lucid is down to 3, just a hair over 3%, so we're doing really good here. I'm just gonna keep attacking. There we go. So we have cleared Lucid, phase 1, her first 10 lives plus her final life. Now in phase 2, her attacks do change and the stage does look different. It is multi-platform, so you'll have to kind of jump around. And in this stage, Lucid has a few different attacks. So here you can see I bound her and I'm just going to unleash as much as I can. She does have a invincible move where she starts to glow pink. You do see the crescent moon attack there again. But when she's glowing pink and floating around the screen, the best spot to stand here is either the top right or top left platform. And instead of crisscrossing rows of flowers, she has this crisscrossing laser attack. Don't do what I did and just continuously jump off the platform. What you'll want to do is kind of move back and forth and just try to avoid as best as you can too many overlapping attacks. So behind me is that crystal portal I was talking about. If you stand in front of that with 100% HP, even with the countdown, you'll still be able to survive with 10%-ish HP, and then you'll just want to heal up as quickly as you can from there. Here comes the green fog, so I'm going to make my way up to one of the 2 highest platforms there to avoid the all-screen dragon attack. And the cherub is lit up, so I'm going to use that to clear off some of these butterflies and avoid those crescent moon attacks. And from here, I'm just going to continue to unleash as much as I can on Lucid. And here's Lucid in her invincible form. And really, the best way is to stand on one of the 2 top platforms and just kind of avoid her hitting you. It's the best way to avoid getting attacked there. Now I'm going to try a different method here and just kind of scoot back and forth and hope that I don't get hit too many times by these lasers. That seemed to work out this time. We've got Lucid down to 8 lives. So she does have 10 lives and a final life in phase 2. We're just going to work her way down. And when these golems appear, they do initially break the platform that they drop on, so you just want to be careful where you're standing. And I'm going to go ahead and attack this one, clear it off. I'm going to go ahead and use my origin move since I do have that available to avoid that countdown 1 hit from Lucid. She's bound. I'm going to go ahead and unleash more attacks on her. Instead of blue particles that you see floating around, there are orange ones in phase 2. There are still the fluttering butterflies and the stationary ones, so you can use the cherub to kind of help clear off some of these attacks that are crisscrossing all over the screen. I'm going to make my way back up to the top to avoid that dragon attack. And unfortunately, the lasers were coming in at the same time as the dragon, so I wasn't able to avoid that one. But I am sitting at 6 lives, and Lucid is sitting at 5, so we're just going to continue to attack and work her down to 0 lives. And here you can see a little better those stationary butterflies that the cherub will help clear off. Okay. And and I was able to avoid Lucid there, so now she's back in regular mode where I can attack her. Unfortunately, I was a little too close to the crescents, so you'll want to try to find a better spot or a different spot to stand on when she's unleashing those. And here I'm standing in front of that crystal portal, so I was able to survive the one-hit countdown. I'm just gonna go ahead and continue unleashing attacks. Since I am playing Wind Archer, she does have some moves that follow the enemy around, so I was able to let those go while standing a safe distance away from Lucid. And here's the laser attacks again. I'm just going to continue scooting back and forth. This time I did fall off the platforms quite a bit since I was towards the bottom of the stage there, but I was able to survive her attack there. I'm going to use the cherub to clear off some of the attacks and hop back up to the top to avoid that dragon attack. And we've got Lucid down to 5, and I have 5 lives, so we're still doing pretty good here for our first solo run. We still have plenty of time on the clock here. You do get 30 minutes to beat Lucid. I'm just gonna continue attacking and trying to avoid these golems as best as I can. Again, if you've got an invincible move, you can use that during that countdown. As long as you hit it between when it gets to 1 to 0. Alright, we've got Lucid down to 4 lives. She is in that glowy pink invincible mode, so I'm just gonna try to avoid her from hitting me too much. I'm going to kind of scoot around to avoid too many overlapping lasers. Oops, I guess I wasn't able to do that this time. That's okay, I still got 4 lives. And I'm going to continue unleashing attacks on Lucid. I'm going to kind of make my way a little closer. Continue attacking. The cherubs are lit up, so I'm going to try to make my way over there. But first I'm going to avoid this all-screen dragon attack. And then make my way down. Go ahead and use the cherub to clear off some of the stationary glowy butterflies. I'm going to scoot around to avoid the crescent moons and get a little closer to Lucid. Alright, we've got Lucid whittled down to our 2 final lives here. Just going to carefully avoid the lasers. Clear off some of the butterflies, the stationary butterflies there. And as you can see, the platform I was standing on, that golem, when it landed, it broke it, so I ended up dropping down to down Lucid, so I'm going to go ahead and unleash more attacks. I'm going to make my way back up to the top, so that way I can just kind of hop up and down and avoid Lucid's invincible move there. I'm going to continue attacking. Working Lucid down her last 2 lives. And sometimes just hopping off the platforms and falling like I did really is sometimes the best option to avoid some of her attacks. Whoops, looks like I wasn't able to avoid the countdown one-hit death there. I'm gonna try to be a little more careful now that I've got 3 lives and she's down to 2. I'm gonna keep attacking and avoiding the laser attacks as best as I can. Continue attacking. Okay, and now we've got Lucid down to 1 life. And again, after you clear her 10 lives, she does have a final life at the end of this phase as well. Okay, so we're able to avoid the dragon there. I'm going to clear off Golem so that way I've got room to kind of scoot around. And just being careful where Lucid is. As you can see, when she hit me in her invincible move, it took 50% of my HP right off the bat, so you just want to be careful of that. Unleash what I can, whittle her last life down here before we get to her final life. Alright, we were able to avoid the laser attacks, so now I'm just kind of trying to figure out where Lucid is. Unleash what I can. And try to avoid this counter. There we go. I used my origin skill, which does have an invincible move, so I was able to avoid that. And make my way back up to the top to avoid the dragon. And then now we've got Lucid down to her final life. The stage does change. And these butterflies will unleash these pink particles that will attack you. Really, you kind of want to just move around, and you will get hit, but you just want to avoid as best as you can getting hit too many times. And then the stage will eventually turn back to this multi-platform. And I'm going to use the cherub to clear off the stationary butterflies and try to finish off Lucid's final life here to clear this boss. We're going to avoid the lasers, and I'm going to float side to side as best as I can. Put down a healing fountain here and hopefully finish her off. Alright, got her down to 5%. Just going to keep whittling her down. She's down to 2, 1. Almost there. Alright, we have soloed easy Lucid for the first time. So that will allow me to finish off that final challenge to upgrade my challenger gear. I'm going to go ahead and break the box here. This is your first time soloing Lucid, hopefully this helps. I did, once I exited here, try to complete that challenge. Unfortunately, there is a bug at the moment. So I will try to hit the can complete button at another time, but for now I was able to complete the challenge of soloing Lucid. Thanks for watching!